what's your main philosophy then on the diet? Did you kind of get, because you were big onto Udo's oil, wasn't you?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want my diet then, do you?
Yeah, a quick run through if you can.
Yeah,
That's
sure,
cool.
of course, sure. Yeah, diet. Well, I'll just say that my competition weight is generally, when I hit stage, is generally around about 10.3, 10.4. I always felt that when I was competing, because blokes were a lot bigger than me, you know...
weight-wise or size?
No, weight-wise.
Yeah.
Say. I had to come in ripped.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, when I saw you at the Nabbing, I guess it was probably around about 2003.
Yeah.
Is that you just walked on and everyone was like, hang on, no one else looks like they've done any dieting.
Well, to be honest, I was nowhere near my best there.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, it was very impressive because I can remember it.
Right.
The condition was just...
I was probably at my best in that year. That was 2004, I think, wasn't it?
Yes. It was one of those 2 years.
I was at my best in that year for a few months later.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that condition was phenomenal. It was by far, there was no one in the entire show that even came near you for condition.
Right. No, I've always been known for the last, God knows how many years, for my condition, yeah.
So what's your kind of like philosophy and sort of theories
on it was all
condition?
trial and error. Right. Mm. What happened was obviously when I was younger, I won the British 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Then I went 2 or 3 years without winning anything.
Right. And did you competing but not winning?
Well, I was competing, but I wasn't winning.
Right. Okay. Why was that?
Now I did the British Pro-Am. I can't remember what year it was. It's probably yes I do. 2001, I think. Right. It was the MPA or AMB British Pro-Am.
Yeah.
Okay. And I came last. I think it was 5, but I came last. So I thought, what the hell, what the hell am I going to do? So the year later, all right, I did the Devon Spring Classic. You ever heard of that one?
No.
Right. Well, it was actually in Sidmouth, in Devon.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I experimented and I dieted, and I just kept dieting. All right, I didn't bother with weight. I just kept dieting, and suddenly my body started dialing in.
Right.
And I couldn't understand it. And the glutes were coming out, and I thought, bloody hell, what's going on here? And I did that show. It was in 2002. And Jason Corrick just beat me by about, I think, they said it was half a point.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's a big gearhead.
Well, yeah, he is, and he was Mr. Universe.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Because you must be about the same height as him as well.
No, he's a little bit taller than me.
Was he?
I think not by much, 1 or 2 inches, but he's massive. He's about
very
16,
big.
16 and a half stone, I think. I was about 10, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
He just hit me. But actually, Doreen Yates and Roy Duval were in the audience, and they said I should have won.
Wow.
All right. But anyway, I dialed it in there, and that's when I started off winning.
Yeah.
From that point. All right. But I will tell you my diet.
Okay.
All right. Now, essential fats are a massive thing. Yeah. In my diet.
What do you do? Take a certain amount, or do you take a certain ratio?
Do you want me to break down how I was dieting right through the day?
Yes, that'd be brilliant.
Okay, right. This is the best I can think of at the moment. This was several years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Breakfast is always the same. I'm always strict on what I eat. I never vary.
Yeah.
All right. My best was I had oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah.
Mixed with water.
Yeah.
But I used to put it in the microwave and made it really hard like a biscuit.
Oh, okay, right.
Right, and I break it up because that satiates the diet a bit more.
Right.
Oh, the palate. I wouldn't run it very hard. I put a bit of diabetic jam with that.
Okay.
All right. Then I'd have a drink of whey isolate.
Yeah.
All right, and in that
was that with water?
I just made with water, but I think I probably threw in probably 1 or 2 tablespoons of flaxseed oil.
Okay, right.
And what I must say now is I take flaxseed oil when I diet.
Yeah.
And Udo's Choice the rest of the year.
Okay. How much flaxseed oil do you take on a daily?
Quite a lot. Right, so what I've done there, right, I do that for a reason because it's higher in omega-3.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? I'll tell you my supplements later.
Yeah.
But this is what it is. I probably had 1 or 2 tablespoons of flax in the morning.
Yeah.
Right, that was my breakfast. Then I go on, before training, I usually had probably 4 or 5 tablespoons of flax. All right, before I trained.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit, 4 or 5
Is this about an hour before you train?
No, probably about half an hour.
Right, okay.
All right. Very strong cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, sometimes I did experiment. I used to just whip up, when I first started, it was just flaxseed oil and a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
All right. But then I went on, after a few years, I started mixing up a whey isolate.
Yeah.
Then chucking the flaxseed into the whey isolate and making it into like a yogurt.
Yeah.
And then I'd eat that with a spoon.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I was getting in some protein as well before training.
Yeah.
All right. Then I branched on, and then I was taking spirulina in a separate drink.
There's so many benefits to the algae, isn't there?
That's right, absolutely. Well, this is what I was saying. As I progressed through the years, I was slightly changing my workout food.
Yeah.
All right. Then I obviously did my training.
Yeah.
After training, it was always the same thing. Drink the whey isolate and about a good spoonful of honey.
Okay.
All right. I used to have like a couple of dessert spoons of honey.
Yeah.
Heaped up. All right.
Yeah.
Then I never time anything. I never weigh any food.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they get obsessed with it.
Yeah, this is very interesting because there's so many. Do you know what? The shows I won, I didn't measure out anything. I just felt my fat every day. I noticed how I felt every day, and I noticed if my muscles were full or flat for carbohydrates.
You were doing it by feel.
Exactly.
And that's exactly how I've done it. I've never weighed or measured anything.
No, because the thing is, even the very fact of an exact number of calories is completely flawed because there's too many variables.
Exactly. And that's why I've always done it and always willed it just by feel.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Right. Yeah, cool.
Right, so my next meal, I always had tin of tuna in spring water.
Yeah.
And veg. Generally green veg. It could be either cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower.
Quite a big portion?
A lot of veg.
Right.
Fair a bit, but 1 tin of tuna.
Right.
In spring water, and usually a dob of sauce with it just to liven up a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Next meal, a few hours later. Again, I don't time it. I just eat when I feel like it.
Yeah.
All right. I usually have white fish. That can be coley, cod, haddock, that kind of thing.
Quite dry fish then, is it?
Yeah, I'd always frozen. I might get the blocks or out of the packet.
Yeah.
Stick it in the microwave. All right?
Yeah.
Just in water, and I'd cook that in water. Then I'd have another load of veg with that. Okay?
Yeah.
As before. And a bit of sauce.
Do you normally steam your veg or boil, or what do you normally do? Just boil it?
Yeah, steam. I just stuff it in the microwave.
Right, okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then before bed, about half an hour before bed, for years and years, I always took Roy Duval's XRX meal replacement.
And what's in that basically?
It's fantastic. It's basically a complete meal replacement. It's got carbs in it. It's got different protein, whey isolate, calcium caseinate, so forth, egg albumin and that, right?
So slow, medium fast and slow release.
Now with that, in those years 2003 onwards, I used to put that in a mixing bowl.
Yeah.
And I used to chuck in, again, maybe a couple of tablespoons of flax.
Yeah.
All right. And I eat it with a teaspoon.
Right, yeah, like a paste.
Yeah. Okay, well, at night I mix up quite a lot with water. And I might have a cup of Horlicks.
A cup of Horlicks?
Yeah.
Oh, any reason for the Horlicks?
Oh, really? No.
Because you fancied it.
But throughout the day, if I felt like a drink, it was generally green tea.
Okay, yes, right.
A cup of coffee before I train.
Yeah.
So I'm very heavy into sweeteners.
Into sweeteners?
Yeah, because I always felt that when you diet, you need a sweet sensation.
Right.
All right, so I used to eat quite a lot of sweet heck.
I mean, would you be craving a lot on your dieting?
Yeah, when I craved, I had a drink.
Right.
So sometimes I'd have some of those fruit drinks, you know, the ones you can buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'd have like 5, 6 sweeteners in every drink.
Right. Okay.
Just to satisfy the palate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I also used to have a lot of chewing gum.
Right. Okay.
So if I was hungry, I'd just get a couple of sticks of juicy fruit out.
Right. Okay. So I mean, really, your calories were really quite low then.
Yes.
Right.
Now I diet, and I didn't cheat a lot. An occasional cheat, I might have an ice cream once a month or something.
Right.
Went out somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Very few cheats. Very few. I never used to basically have a cheat day.
Right.
All right. But then, again, you know, if I felt like a Packers crisp now and again, I'd have them.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever I felt like something, I'd do it. If I wanted a couple of squares of chocolate, I'd have them.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So you really tuned into your body a lot then.
Very much so.
So what made the biggest difference then between you losing shows and then all of a sudden winning? What really made the difference? Was it?
What made the difference was almost certainly essential fatty acids.
Right.
But taken in a large quantity.
Right.
I'm talking 7-8 tablespoons a day.
Right.
Again, you know, a fairly lot. Remember, I'm only a small bloke.
Yeah.
All right. So essential fat, to me, that is like, I'm going to say it, a natural bodybuilder steroids.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's so many studies, showing from a bodybuilding perspective or from an athletic perspective, but it basically keeps glycogen in the muscle full, and it draws body fat for energy, and it really pushes. It is perfect for bodybuilding.
Exactly.
I mean, that's without the benefits on the brain, of course.
Well, I've always said this. You know, your non-naturals take steroids. Yeah. Right. Naturals, we take essential fatty acids.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, this is the interesting thing, because the way I perceive it, going back onto the subject of natural and non-natural, I perceive that the non-natural has actually gone underground.
Yeah.
With the way it's gone. I mean,
think so.
It's not a desirable sport for the public.
No, it's not.
It's a freak show now, and that's what it is. It's all about.
It is a freak show.
Don't get me wrong. It's very interesting to look at the freaks.
I personally think the way forward is natural.
That's what I reckon. Because the thing is, with natural before, it had a bad rap because people didn't think you could look good enough naturally.
Exactly.
Nobody
believes you.
Nobody believes you. That's right.
You see, I made quite a headway for the natural movement.
Yeah.
By winning non-natural shows.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I might be the only, I don't know if I am, I might be the only man in history to ever win the EFBB Britain.
Yeah, you might be. Yeah, that's really cool.
You know, I know there is a bloke called Lee Williams who won it. He beat me a couple of years after I won it, but he'd taken pro hormones.
Right.
All right. So
which is basically, that's the same as taking steroids.
Yes, but he basically lost his non-natural status.
Yeah.
Okay. So he couldn't compete naturally, but he still says he's natural, but we say he's drug-free.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at lifetime natural, I'm probably the only genuine bloke that's ever won it.
Yeah, that's cool.
You see?
That's really good.
I'm not lying to you in any way. I wouldn't do that.
No. Well, the thing is,
when I tell you I'm lifetime natural, I am telling you honest to God kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. I know what it's like when you've got people telling you that you're not natural.
I couldn't do what I do.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Then I said, well, Christ, I say the truth, you know.
You should just invite them to a training session.
Exactly. You know, it's up to them if they want to believe me or not.
Exactly.
It's up to them. But yes, that was what I did, like for the natural movement.
Yeah, no, that's you brought a big awareness there, because it is people don't. I think people go down the gear route because they just don't believe that you can look good naturally.
The only thing you're not going to get, you'll be like me. You won't get your humongous size.
You won't be a monster.
You won't be a monster, but again, you can still be a fantastic bodybuilder. You don't have to be. It's like me. I was never about size.
No.
I wasn't interested. I was more interested in what I looked like in the mirror.
That's right, yeah, aesthetics.
Yeah.
Which is what bodybuilding always was, obviously.
I'd rather be a really good 10 stone than a not so good 15 stone.
Yeah. With a great big gut.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean?
Mm.
And also, there's the health reason. What's the point of doing all this when it's so detrimental to your health?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point of bodybuilding. Is supposed to be a health sport, and it's not a health sport. Well, I'm trying to think of a better word for it. Non-natural bodybuilding is not a health sport anymore.
It's not. But don't get me wrong, I'm not putting anyone down because
they still got to put the effort in, and they still got to put the hard work in.
And also, it's up to the individual. I would never criticise anyone for taking anything.
No.
I wouldn't. I don't do that because that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
It's
the only thing that's a shame is like, I think the belief system to start off with.
Yeah.
I think that's a shame.
A lot of my friends have taken steroids. You know, in the bodybuilding, our best mate is Brandon. You know, he takes steroids.
Yeah.
But he's probably my best mate in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't hold anything against anyone.
And it's also a broad subject because, like I said, taking the steroids is not black and white, because you get people that take a ridiculous amount of really strong stuff, and then you get other people that take a very moderate amount and use it as a supplement.
Exactly.
And do you know what I've always said? I've always said intelligence comes across in your physique.
Right. Okay.
And if you can get a bodybuilder that takes steroids and is a Neanderthal, and he might be massive, but he looks like a Neanderthal. You can take another bodybuilder that takes steroids, but he'll take them intelligently, and he doesn't look like a Neanderthal. He looks. Right. Do you see what I mean? I think the intelligence does come across in the physique.
You're probably absolutely right. I can, my favourite physiques of all time, and this is great. I've thought about this for years and years, actually, because I look through photographs all the time, or magazines and so forth.
Yeah.
And the actual physiques that have appealed to me, and they are basically from the natural side. I did like Steve Reeves.
Yeah.
But he was lacking.
Yeah.
In many, I think we've improved.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. But he still had a fantastic shape.
Yeah, he's brilliant shape. Yeah.
Brilliant shape, and he's definitely one of my favourites.
Yeah.
But I think the two that stand out for me, and they have taken drugs, but they were Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
But my favourite is Frank Zane.
Right.
All right. Even though he was lacking in many his back was lacking.
Fitness.
Side chest, non-existent.
Yeah.
But his overall picture was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
He went for that what would be termed, I don't know how you call it, classical kind of Michelangelo kind of look.
I think he was one of the only drug takers that would look good on an actual stage.
Well, this is the thing with the 80s bodybuilders, is that they were a lot more. I think they did view steroids as supplements more.
I think you're right.
And I've heard a lot of them used to actually come off when they did the shows completely.
Right. Yeah. But today, you see, you've got your Jay Cutlers and people like that, which I cannot associate with.
I mean, fair play for what they do in terms of what direction they're going, but it's not a direction of what bodybuilding was for me.
No, it's if you look at Ronnie Coleman, at his best, I shouldn't think there's a man that's ever lived that would have beaten him.
No.
At his best, because he was just so huge.
Yeah, ridiculous,
unbelievable. He would blow anyone off the stage as he walked on. But I don't like his physique.
No.
It's not appealing, but I could...
It's fascinating.
Yes. It's fascinating. It's the same with Jay Cutler. You look at him, he's just huge. And you can see why he's beating people. But it's not a quality physique.
No, and you take a guy off the street and you show them like modern natural bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And then you show them the modern non-natural bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Give the majority vote of what they would rather look. No one would want to look like the other guys.
Well, it's like when you look at naturals. When we've got our clothes on, you've got a t-shirt and trousers on, you'd hardly think or a shirt, you'd hardly think we'd ever lifted a weight.
Yeah, it just look like a gymnast, very fit.
Exactly. As soon as you take your clothes off, people see you and they go, bloody hell.
Yeah.
You transform.
Yeah.
But obviously the bigger blokes who take drugs, they look big no matter what they wear.
Yeah.
You know, this is a sport. Even though some people think it isn't, but it is.
Well, I do wonder where it's going, and I do believe that natural bodybuilding is going to become a lot more popular over the next few years.
I wish it would. I really do, and I think the public are being phased now of this because they think everybody that bodybuilds has to take drugs.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you can do it without anything.
That's right. Yeah, and
they just don't believe it. But we're living proof, it can be done.
Yeah, the crazy thing was, before the 50s, mid-50s, even late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Steroids weren't really in bodybuilding, and you look at the bodybuilders then, and they didn't have supplements at all. They didn't really know about the dieting at all.
That's right, but they still look pretty good.
They still look very good.
I don't think they're as good as we are now.
Oh, nowhere near.
I think we've taken it to a different level now.
I mean, that's 50, 60 years ago now.
Exactly.
And the other thing was supplements. What's your kind of take on supplements?
Yeah, my supplements. Now, what I did, I got my best results with a few things. All right, I've tried creatine, never did much for me.
Okay.
Glutamine, I've never really bothered with that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I did, obviously, multivitamins and minerals.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm not sure if it works or not, but I always took in CLA.
Okay, yeah. Did you take in high quantities of CLA?
No, anything from, I think it's 5 grams to, maybe before a show I used to crank it up to about 5 or 6 grams a day.
Yeah, because that's meant to be very good for also shifting body fat.
Exactly. And you mix that with, I always found if you took that with the flaxseed oil, that seemed to work a treat.
Right.
All right. Now, I also took, there was a company called Peak Body.
Yes.
They're probably still going now.
Yes, they are,
I know they changed the supplements. So they used to do a fat burner called Cutting Edge.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I used to take that when I was at my best. I took that, and that seemed to work well.
Okay.
But that was a good product. I also tried...
what about Tribulus or anything like that?
Tribulus?
Yeah.
I've taken that sometimes. Again, that is fine. You can take Tribulus terrestris. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. I never took that when I dieted.
Right.
I've only ever taken that once or twice. Again, what I do is I always check out with mates of mine who work on the anti-doping.
Yeah.
To find exactly what I can take. And what
That's probably worth doing. I mean, because
it's always worth doing. I never take a supplement until I've checked it out. It's like my mate used to be the head of the doping in Great Britain.
Yeah.
All right. I always used to ring him up. Lee Kemp, his name is. But he knows everything about what supplements you can take.
I mean, who decides what's banned and what's
you have to go to the Olympic Committee's website.
Okay, fine.
I don't know what it is now.
What do they call it? Ergogenic aids.
Yeah. They're just basically the main things you can take these days are things like caffeine obviously is a good one. You take things like green tea extract.
Do you ever take ginseng?
No.
Have you ever tried it?
I have in small amounts. But I honestly think the main factor of my condition was essential fatty acids.
Right. In high quantities.
In high quantity, a teaspoon ain't going to do anything.
No.
You either take it in high dose or don't bother.
Well, it's interesting because I've just given a bottle of omega-3s to Gino because he was taking capsules. I said, you're not going to get enough in capsules.
No,
you have to take 10 a day.
The certain thing is, it gets expensive. Obviously, I'm sponsored by Savant, who distribute Udo's Choice.
Right.
All right. I've been sponsored with them for about 10 years, I suppose.
So you use the Udo's flaxseed then?
What I've done is throughout the year, right now I'm totally on Udo's.
Right.
All right. But when I diet, I go heavily into flaxseed purely because it's high on omega-3.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's more beneficial for burning fat.
Exactly.
What I was going to ask you about keeping your glycogen levels full when you're dieting.
Right.
Did you ever go flat, or did that high quantity of oils keep you full?
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I said. I've said this to so many people. Like if I do seminars or whatever.
Yeah.
I've told people the secret is essential fatty acids, particularly Udo's Choice.
Right.
And that's why I've sworn by it for so long.
Because it works.
Damn right it works. Absolutely. It's like my supplementation is so simple. My main two, if anyone ever asks me, is a decent whey isolate product and Udo's Choice.
So when you on this the diet that you ran through for your show, was that like, but you'd go on that diet for literally weeks, or was that like the last few weeks that you'd go on that?
No, I'd be on that for ages.
Really? How long?
Well, how about 6 months?
Really?
Yeah, sometimes.
Blimey, X. You don't do things in half measures, do you?
No, I can sometimes diet anything up to, it's sometimes if you do like the Brit and you might do the Pro-Am and so forth, you know. And if you've got the World Championship 3 weeks later, you keep dieting.
Right, blimey neck.
See? So what I usually do, if I will always do shows in clusters. I do like 3 a year.
Right, you do them all close together.
Yeah, but on the night of a show, once I've done the show, I would cheat that night.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So I would have a few packets of crisps, maybe some chips.
Yeah.
That kind
Until
of thing.
you felt like you had enough.
Just to get maybe a few cakes.
Yeah.
Just to get something in. But then that next morning, I was back on my diet again.
Right.
Okay.
So you wasn't spinning over. Did you notice a difference in fullness and tightness?
I did, but I still, I felt I looked better on the day of the show.
Yeah, because would you know what I found? I mean, I'm not a big fan of the carb depletion diet. I mean, I did it 3 times, and I regret it doing it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was reading some from Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about his. He never did a carb depletion.
But I always said, I've always done this. I'm always ready for a show 2 or 3 weeks prior.
Yeah, that's the best way to be, isn't it?
I don't do anything different. I take that diet right up to the day of the show. All right. Now the night prior to a competition. All right. Now I'll tell you. You want me to tell you how I go through a show?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's if you're all right for time.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
No problem.
Cool.
The only thing that's going to stop me, right, is if the battery runs out on the phone.
Fine. Cool.
If it bleeps, then it's running out. All right.
Cool.
Now, right, night prior to a show, again I've experimented. What I usually settled for was I'd get some chips, right?
Yeah.
To get in a bit more carb the night prior.
Yeah.
So my wife might have gone up to fish and chip shop, all right?
Yeah.
Or I'd get one of those boxes that you stick in the microwave.
Yeah.
Obviously no salt.
Yeah, that's I was going to ask you about your sodium, and did you load up on potassium on the day?
Nothing. I've never experimented in any way.
Right. Okay.
Right? Now what I did was I'd have chips and maybe fish with that or a steak.
Yeah.
I'd fry up and veg.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the night prior to the show.
So that was your evening meal then?
Yeah. Then I'd have my usual Roy Duval before bed. I kept my water fairly high.
So would you increase your water running up to the show?
No, I'd always stick to around through the day. It was probably about, I don't know, 9-10 pints.
Oh, so that's about 2-3 litres?
Something like that, yeah. That was up to the night prior.
Right.
All right. In the morning of the show, then my water went right down. Okay.
So what would you just literally have a sip?
It was I'd have probably, I used to have maybe half a cup of black tea.
Right.
All right.
Is that because it's a diuretic, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Sometimes coffee.
Oh, yes. Good diuretic.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I had, and it was very minimal.
Yeah.
The rest of the day was just little sips of water.
Right.
Tap water didn't really matter to me. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the best thing I've experimented through the years was the food I was eating on the contest the day.
Yeah.
What I was doing at my best was I used to have the Roy Duval XRX.
Yeah.
Probably about 4 times through the day.
Right.
Because my breakfast on a competition day was this. I used to do oatmeal.
Yeah.
But I used to mix it in generally with a Roy Duval.
Right.
With flaxseed.
Right.
Mix it all up.
So you had a few extra carbs in there.
Yes, I did.
Right.
That was the day of the show. And then there on in all day, it was. I used to put Roy Duval to get some of those little sandwich bags, stick in a scoop in each one.
Yeah.
All right. And then usually my wife would be mixing them up in the car as we were driving to a show.
Yeah.
All right. Every sort of like 3 hours or so. Very thick. And then I'd have maybe a spoon of honey with it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting with the honey.
Yeah.
Very sweet. But that's all I was eating. Then before I go on stage, I'd crank in some dark chocolate.
Yeah.
All right. no alcohol.
Right.
All right. I might have some of that nicotinic acid. All right. And what that does, that just pumps the blood out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes you really hot on the head.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know which vitamin it is, but it just looks at nicotinic acid.
Okay. Yeah.
And you have a few tablets of that before you go on stage, probably about half an hour prior.
Yeah.
You get a real hot flush.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Just drive. I usually have that before I'm pumping up.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one of the B vitamins, and I don't know which one.
Okay. Fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I also might have had a couple of apples during the day.
Yeah.
Before the evening show, I used to crank up the carbs a bit more, so I might have had a Mars bar.
Yeah.
With Roy DeVal XRX again.
Yeah.
Maybe an apple.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So
I'll be cranking in the carbs basically.
Yeah. So you
on competition
and
day.
you'd still basically really go with your sort of tuning into your body as to how much carbs you're eating and when you're eating them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So and that's how I did it. And obviously after the show, I would crank in quite a couple of 3 packets of crisps to get some salt in me.
Right.
All right, because I do get a lot of cramps in my hamstrings and so forth. So I used to get in a lot of salt.
Right.
In the evening.
In the evening, and that was after the
That
judging was
after
done.
the show, yeah.
Right. Fine.
That's basically what I did. To pump up, I always just used. If I could, I might get a few chin-ups on somewhere. But I always take those little springy bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to pump up with that. Most of the time, I just use that.
Yeah, you don't need much really, if you know what
No, I used to use I take it right backstage, and I do a pump set just before I stepped on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I was there pumping up. Everyone else was just stood there. I was always going mad on this bar, pumping up before I got out. All right.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's basically what I've done. I can't think of anything else. You know.
And did you notice more sort of definition? Did you notice your skin getting tighter from not drinking so much water on the day? Did you notice the water coming out at all?
I think I actually looked best when I got up, before I eaten or drank anything.
Right, in the first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you always look better first thing in the morning anyway, because you're dehydrated.
I always look in the mirror. First thing, and think, first thing, just check my abdominals.
Right.
Oh, they're bloody tight. Spot on.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you've eaten, you're starting to blow out a bit.
Yeah.
All right. It also helps take one of those laxative tablets the night prior.
Oh right, why is that?
You've got to go to the toilet in the morning.
Right. Okay. Keep yourself slim.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
You've got to go to the toilet.
Yeah, interesting. I was going to say because fibre also is you could have a high fibre brand as well, I suppose.
Yeah. So you always try and go to the toilet.
Right.
Okay, so one of those little, I don't know what they're called, the little diet tablets, not diet.
Yeah, I know. Laxative.
A laxative thing.
Yeah. This is the things bodybuilders do, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. if you do that the night prior, it just helps you the day of the show.
Right. Cool.
That's another little thing you can do. Other than that, I never drop my water, only on the day of the show.
Yeah, because the thing is with the dropping of the water is very, very quickly your body produces another chemical which makes you hold water literally within minutes to an hour of you noticing that you've not got enough water.
Honestly, there's so many bodybuilders they drink like 20 pints of water a few days prior.
Yeah.
And they drop it right down, and everything is just so to the letter.
Yeah. On my second show, I messed up because I cut my water out too early.
Right.
And then literally a few hours later, you smooth over again, even though you're not drinking anything.
It's like there's a really top natural called Andrew Murrayfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets very, very hard. Condition is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't think he never got to what I was doing.
Right.
He was close.
Yeah.
But he was methodical.
Really?
In everything he did.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, there are so many variables in the body, no matter what process you go down.
You've got to remember that my diet is very extreme.
It is.
And it is very hard to stick to.
Yeah.
It's almost mind-numbing.
Yeah.
After a few months of that, I'm telling you, you're ending your tether sometimes.
Well, it's interesting you say that because Have you heard a guy in America called Skip LaCour?
I have. I don't think he's natural by any means, but yeah.
He had a comment the other day I thought was quite interesting. He said, you don't become a champion bodybuilder by being balanced. Right. He goes, you've got to be the most unbalanced person on stage to win.
Right.
He says, if you want to get home and have and watch your TV on time and do this and have your normal lifestyle, he goes, forget being a bodybuilder.
Exactly.
He says, the more obsessive you become, the better you become.
Being obsessive is good.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah,
it's very obsessive sport. A diet, you've got to be.
Yeah, you have.
But as I said, the diet the way I did, not everyone can do that.
No.
Because I always trickled my weight down. I never wanted to lose weight in a hurry.
No, so I mean, on your diet, I mean, by the sounds of it, by the time you was in your competing years, you never really did kind of bulk up for winter or anything at all then, did you?
No, I usually stick within a stone.
Right.
In my earlier years, I used to go up 1.5 stones, 2 stones.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a big difference.
It is. But I gradually realised that it's like now I'm about 11, 12 pound over competition weight.
Right.
So I'm still in pretty good shape now.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Well, I was going to ask you about days after the show. Sometimes people end up actually looking better 2 or 3 days afterwards because they do kind of like just relax and eat some crap food and their metabolism.
Well, they do. Well, I don't think that applied to me.
Right. So you really did
I would eat
then.
a load of rubbish after.
You did, or you wouldn't?
No, I would do. If I hadn't a show coming up.
Yeah.
It was my last show. Yeah, I'd pig out for a day or two.
And what would you look like a day or two after that? Not
so good. I think I smoothed out a bit.
So you did actually peak. You did get your timing perfect then.
I think I did.
Yeah, and that was all on intuition and feeling.
Yes, it was.
Cool.
I think I was at my best, as I said, the weeks leading up to the show. Even sometimes I wasn't at my best on show day. I was the best the week before.
Right.
Sometimes. And I always knew when I was at my best.
Yeah.
Because it was just right. All the veins were coming out of my legs. I always know and I always counted the striations. Like my glutes were very striated.
Well, that's always the last place for pretty much everybody, isn't it?
It is, but I could get those striations coming right round the side of my waist and coming down into my thighs.
Wow.
It was coming right round, and I knew when I was right.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
What about your on your diet and then getting close to your shows? I mean, because I need to shoot off in a bit soon, so I'll cut it short in a minute.
Right.
I think the one last question is about your strength and ability to train when you're on that diet.
Right. Well, really, I stuck to the same exercises.
Yeah.
And I was still lifting heavy.
Right. Cool.
All right.
I think if you stop lifting heavy after about 2 or 3 weeks, you do notice a drop.
Yes. But maybe the reps were coming down a bit. All right. And especially on some exercises like shoulder press and bench press, that would come down.
Right.
All right.
But would that be like the last few weeks or
probably the last few weeks.
Right.
And I was getting really depleted because I don't know what my body fat level was, but it was probably under 3%.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
I was getting right down there.
Not many people have got it down that low.
I shouldn't as many people have got it as low as what I've done.
No, you'll go down in history as I think.
I was getting it down there, I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't have anything on me.
No, you didn't. It
know,
was unbelievable.
There's not many bodybuilders in history probably that was ever as ripped as I was.
No, I think you did a great job for those oil as well.
I was getting there.
Yeah.
But that is what I did. You know, it was purely a manipulation of the right training for me and the right diet. But it was all what I learned myself.
Yeah.
All right. It was just trial and error. I'm pretty experienced at this. And it was all down to what I was, to my experimentation on myself. Basically.
Yeah, and not being afraid to do something different against the grain.
Exactly not. But I am, I will start competing again next year probably.
Cool. I look forward to that.
If you ever get a chance to come to a seminar, I do sometimes.
Yeah. Well, do you post them on your Facebook? Do you let people?
I haven't done a seminar for a few years. I used to do quite a few.
Are you going to do? You got any coming up? Are you going to be doing any?
If I'm invited.
Right.
I've been invited. I used to do quite a few. I've done them all over Britain.
Right.
I've done a couple at Taunton.
Well, I mean, definitely. If you whatever you do, let us know. Let us know on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, well, I would do. But it's people are amazed at what I come out with. They can't believe because it just goes so against the books.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, nothing moves forward if everyone just sticks with what is.
Exactly. You know, I've always said that. I do my own thing.
Yeah.
I listen to everyone's advice. I listen to anyone.
Yeah.
But in the end, I do my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, nothing would have evolved. High intensity training wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Arthur Jones.
You've got to remember, a lot of experts, so anyone would, what I told you, they would totally disagree with.
Yeah. Well, do you know what I've realised is I mean, especially with the subject of bodybuilding, is because the body is so multi-layered and multifaceted.
Yeah.
Is you've got to be willing to be wrong.
Of course.
And that's the only way you can learn anything.
Well, I honestly think that at the moment, I'm 50 next year. I'm not doing too bad.
So you're going to be competing in, is another class in there, the over 50s,
there
is
it? There is an over 50s, yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, you have that class to dominate next year.
Well, I'll dominate, but I'll be... I'll do my best.
Yeah, well, you'll be enjoying it anyway.
To be honest, I don't think I'm as competitive as I used to be. All right? Because to be fair, when I was younger, I was a trophy hunter. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't. Now it's more enjoyment.
Yeah.
But yes, I would love to win a few more things. Okay then.
So thank you very much for your time anyway, Robert.
That's fine.
And I'll see you on Sunday.
See you Sunday.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah,
cheers. Bye.
Yeah, bye.